Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft and I'm here for Game 2 from the Team Story Cup featuring Team Millennium and Team Liquid. And it looks like the next player to come up here to fight against Dayshi after Liquid Zenio fell is going to be the little one. And he's going to be the blue Zerg player in the top right hand corner of Daybreak. Now his opponent of course is Dayshi. He held on in the last series defeating Zenio. Utilizing a pretty interesting opening. He went for what I thought was going to be a greedy, macro CC, but he transitioned into really heavy Marine Marauder aggression and was able to just wear down Zenio. And of course now he's going to be staying in this matchup and continuing on for however long he lasts. Remember, this is a Winners League format, but there is a bit of a twist. As I mentioned in the last cast, there is a revive that you can use on a player on your team, and I believe there's also like a team all-star captain as well who gets to who gets to fight again as well. So don't be surprised if you see players formerly deceased make a comeback in this series sometime in the future. Anyways, this should be a good one. It is going to be Dayshi versus the little one, and I'm actually a little curious here because, Dayshi was able to use that strategy against Zenio, but will it be as effective against TLO? Because TLO is known to punish players who open up with that kind of a greedy opening. If you go for a macro CC, you best beware against the little one because he is very prone to early aggression, and if he decides to go for like a Baneling Roach bust, Zergling Baneling bust, really, there's Nidus even as well. Nidus with Swarm Hosts. It can be very hard to hold off as a Terran if you don't have enough forces at the front door. So I don't know if Dayshi's going to open up with the same strategy this time around. Daybreak is a map where you typically, I think, see Terran players play more of a standard 2-base and kind of go from there with what build they want to go with. They can go macro CC as well, but I think he's going to play it a little bit more safe against the little one. Something in my gut just tells me. Now this Overlord is going to be flying in pretty dangerously close to the barracks, but the little one taking a bit of a gamble there because he knows nowadays Terrans love to open up with the Reapers. So this Overlord is like very happy that he is not going to get taken down by that usually what you would see as a Marine, but this time it is going to be a Reaper. So that Overlord is going to float over here to the greenhouse and stay safe for now. And the first Reaper is going to start to make its way across the map. Do note that the little one has a spawning pool about to finish up here, and so it's unlikely that this Reaper is going to get much damage done, but once that second Reaper joins the first one in combat, then you can see a little bit of damage being done to the Zerg player. But we'll see what happens here, as the little one's got 2 queens coming and 4 Zerglings. Now the Reaper takes about 5 shots to kill off a drone. Normally it would take 4, but a drone does regenerate 1 or 2 HP during that time, so it is pretty hard to kill off a drone, although TLO there just with a mistake not saving that worker, so he does lose 1, which is a little bit uncharacteristic at this high level. He's gonna lose 2 drones in fact, and Dayshi's just, I don't even know if it's really him out microing the Zerg, more like the little one just kind of making a couple of mistakes there and losing workers when he shouldn't have. And you can see now that he's kind of dropped down a little bit in the worker count. That's not good, especially in the early game as Zerg. You don't want to be losing workers like that. And Dayshi says, all right, you know what? Great opening advantage. I'm going to capitalize on it by going for the same build I did last game. I'm going to go for the macro CC in base. He's already got the natural coming down, and he's flooding the Zerg player with more Reapers. He's got 3 on the way now. But this time around, I think with the Queen in position, I doubt these Reapers will get much damage done, but we'll see. Remember, they do 5 damage a shot, but they attack twice per round, so they do basically 10 damage a shot. So a Queen is pretty much can resist that type of damage. It's mostly Zerglings and drones that have to be careful when the Reapers start to get into a critical mass mode. We do have Zergling speed now, beginning to research, and the little one is staying on gas here, which means to me, guys, that he is going to try to do something funny here. Could transition to early Banelings or Roaches, or maybe a quick lair. We'll have to see what he uses the gas for, but this is very uncommon for Zerg players to stay on gas after they've already mined enough for speed. This will be very interesting to see what happens, and the little one now diligently keeping that creep tumor alive. He needs to start to spread the creep outwards, and to do that, you'll need to use the queens to protect them. And so doing a good job is the little one, but Dayshi really hasn't been affected at all this game. He is mining like a boss right now. In fact, he's got pretty booming economy for a Terran player at this point, and don't forget, once that macro orbital finishes, mules and SCVs are going to come out the wazoo, and here comes an attack by Dayshi. He's got Hellions and Reapers, and he's going to look to do a ton of damage here at the front door. Not too sure what the little one can do. It looks like he's got enough queens and zerglings, so... And he's going to have to, I think, maybe throw down a spine crawler just to be safe, because this army is getting larger, you know, by the minute. And, you know, sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry. And, yeah, he's going to go ahead and throw one crawler up. And also going to be trying to go for a hatchery at the third. Now, that's interesting because I thought he was going to do something funny since he was continuing to mine gas. But it seems like he wants to go ahead and expand as well. So I'm not too sure what the little one's plan here is. It looks like he is going to be able to get a surround on these Hellions, though. Very nice surround by TLO, utilizing the Zergling speed that had just finished and the creep. And the Zergling's just completely outmaneuvering those Hellions, and now the crawler is canceled. Now, you know, I will say the little one does have +1/+1 on the way, and he's got a Baneling Nest coming as well. So, I guess we are going to see something happening momentarily here. Oh, that Overlord takes a big shot, but in a way, it kind of clears the way for these Zerglings to make their way through. There is still one Widow Mine loaded up, and the mine is going to hit, but the little one almost brilliantly dodging the mines here, taking minimal damage, and is going to flood through the front door with a horde of Zerglings. And I'm not sure what Dayshi's going to be able to do here. He's going to have to plant those mines down. We got to be careful, though, because the mines do a lot of friendly fire damage. They don't do enough to kill a pack of SCVs, but they can weaken them significantly. You can see the little one has killed off 7 SCVs already just by this attack, and one Zergling still remains alive inside the main base, finally roasted up by that Hellion. And I think a great attack right there by TLO. You know, exactly what he needed to do. You know, reverse the tables a little bit. He was able to get through the front door. These mines, a lot of them have kills here, but I would venture to say that some of those kills are actually friendly fire kills. You know, that's kind of the cost in war. Sometimes you're going to have friendly fire, especially if you're Terran. So I guess the little one there getting the job done, and now he's got to try to, you know, rebuild his army, because he is a little bit behind on that tab, 76 to 74. Typically, you'd like to see a Zerg player a lot higher than that, but he is about to finish +1/+1, which is going to help immensely. He's going to totally outclass the Hellions and the Marines, but the Widow Mines, I think, are a big threat here. That is a lot of mines, and oh, there it is once again, the mine friendly fire damage killing off a Hellion, and you've got to be careful. The mines, you know, the friendly fire is 40 damage to units nearby, whether by ground or air, and you can see how it does a lot of damage to SCVs, but it can kill off weakened Hellions as well, and even Marines. Dayshi has to be careful here. Meanwhile, it looks like the little one trying to get rid of the mines here at the front of the third, sending out a pack of Zerglings. He is able to pick one off. Very nice micro here from TLO. Now going to go for a surround on the Marines, and knowing that if the mine were to detonate, it would take out not only the Zerglings, but the Marines as well. So wisely comes out here with his army, and leaving a couple of Overseers on top as well, is able to take out the mine below. Very nice job by TLO, who now basically, I think, clears a pathway in front of his bases, and now he can kind of breathe a sigh of relief. He's actually going up to a hive here. Wow, and he's building the hive in the bottom right-hand corner. That's interesting. You know, you don't usually see Zerg players do that, but that's I guess TLO. He's just totally unpredictable. But he is going to go for a hive here and Aspire at the same time, so it looks like he's going to try to go for Broodlords this game, and most likely going to follow that up with Infestors on the ground, but we'll see what happens. He hasn't researched Pathogen Glands yet, and he is trying to make a bit of an attack on the ground, but now that Hellbats are out, that is going to be pretty difficult. Hellbats and tanks are a much sturdier version of the former Terran army we saw earlier, which was just Marines and Hellions. Look at this store now transitioning into high impact payload to take out Overlords in a couple of shots. Pretty interesting there. But yeah, Dayshi's front door here is well secured. It doesn't even need a planetary fortress at the pocket expansion, not with the forces he's got here, but Dayshi does have to be careful about the possibility of Brute Lords coming. Brute Lords can shut this army down so quickly. And yeah, there is a Thor with high impact payload, but that isn't going to really be able to stop Brute Lords. But at the same time, TLO is not going for Brute Lords. He's actually going to be going for Swarm Hosts here, and has 3 on the way with Evolve Enduring Locust. So I guess he's going to try to out-siege the Terran army, but I don't know how effective that's going to be. He is contaminating these factories to buy some time, but this army is pushing right now, and I'm looking at the supplies once again, and Dayshi is leading the little one. I mean, Daishi's macro is really, really good. You know, one of his actually strong points listed on his Wikipedia page is he's a great macro player, and we can see that in play right here. He's pushing out with a very substantial army, and I don't know if the little one's got enough to stop this. Now, the one thing is TLO does have significant upgrade advantages. The mech has only got 1 weapons, whereas the Zerg player, I believe he's at 2-2. Yeah, he's at least got 2-0 right now, and the Zerglings have 1 melee upgrade. So the little one's got better upgrades, and he's actually he's going around the back of this mech army with roaches, but not to flank. He's going to go for an attack here. This is a risky gamble, but the problem is the Terran player saw it with the Xel'Naga tower. Now he's just going to pull back to the top of the ramp and siege up, and these roaches are not going to be able to punch through. Meanwhile, the hatchery in the bottom right-hand corner has fallen down. Corruptors are coming out right now. Brute Lords would be a significant help for the little one if he can get it out in time, but I don't even know if he's got a Greater Spire. And yeah, yes, he does. He does have a Greater Spire. So he's making Brute Lords right now, trying to buy time before this army pushes in, but it is pushing in relentlessly. And the little one at the same time trying to get as much damage done as he can. Not too sure if the little one is going to come out ahead here, because really the Terran is encamped very well, and it's continuing to push in here. All the Swarm Hosts, it seems like, no, they have retreated to the back here, and they're waiting for their Brute Lord brothers to come out in the skies. The Brute Lords have now come out. The Thor in the background with high impact payload needs to come up to take out the Brute Lords, but it looks like Dayshi deciding, nah, I'm just going to pull back because of the threat from all the locusts and whatnot. So the little one does hold here, and the Roach is continuing to try to find a way to do damage behind the SCV line, but they encounter reinforcing tanks and Hellbats, and probably a good idea for these Roaches to get out of there, because they're not going to be able to get much more damage done from here on out. But I do like what the little one has done. He did make a hold. It was a hard-fought, you know, battle for survival, but you know, does he have enough in the tank to actually win this game? Because I feel like he's fallen pretty far behind right now. And Dayshi could just go 2-0 to start the series between Millennium and Team Liquid, and that would not be good for TL at all. But of course, like I said before, they do have the big guns, Hero and Tasia, waiting. So we'll see what happens, but here comes the little one. He is going to try to push here with everything he's got. There's a lot of tanks and Thors here, though, and the tank's not even bothering to go into siege mode. Dayshi just says, nah, not necessary. Just stay in unsieged mode, and I can take out anything you throw at me. And what is the little one going to do? He's got some locusts, but I don't know if locusts are going to win this fight. The Swarm Host burrowing down, more locusts coming out. Comsat revealing the burrowed Swarm Host, and now the oh my god, the shots from the siege tanks doing tons of damage. But the Locusts are able to bust through, and it looks like the little one is going to get a ton of damage done for free here. Anytime those Locusts can take out siege tanks, I mean, it is a worthy trade. I think TLO kind of coming out all right in that fight. You can see the supplies are still very close right now, and the little one is making a bunch of Corruptors. And supposedly he's going to try to morph them into Brute Lords, but the problem is I don't think he has enough cash. He'd love to have a hatchery down here. Unfortunately, it was taken out, and he doesn't have enough minerals or gas to really, I don't think, make the Brute Lords that he needs right now. And of course, Dayshi continuing to stay on 4 bases, pretty strong. And he's got more SCVs than TLO has drones, in fact. A couple of Vikings flying in a little bit too close to Zerg airspace. And the little one right now trying to make something out of nothing. I still think he's got a chance here with these Swarm Hosts. If he can take out the Terran army, then the base is his for conquering. He's also trying to go for an Ultra Cavern right now, which I don't know if that's advisable. I don't know if he can afford it. Meanwhile, these Corruptors flying in, they're not too scared about the Thor because the Thor is in high impact payload. It does not do splash damage to air units. And here comes the Locust. That Thor best get back home, otherwise it is going to get swarmed. The Siege Tank's able to quickly take out the Locust underneath. Now, the little one is going to obviously try to hold this position and continue to press onwards. I love how he's expanding now. I was getting a little bit worried for him right there because he is running pretty low on cash. And his reinforcements are able to take out these Widow Mines as well. I would say the best thing for the little one to do is to try to hold onto this position and expand in the background and, you know, re-macro, get his economy booming again. And try to hold off Daishi's eventual push, because right now Daishi is maxed out. And whenever a Terran player is maxed out, they have this inexplicable urge to push. So perhaps Daishi here, I think Daishi will probably make an attack very, very soon. I mean, he's got a big army. You know, in the back here. But for now, he is standing his ground. We do have Ultras coming out. The little one somehow able to afford Ultralisks. Don't ask me how. But he was able to afford a couple of Ultras here. He's got 3 Ultras coming out. Now, if the Ultras can come out with chitinous plating and the Vipers can drop down some pretty good blinding clouds, I don't see Daishi having an easy fight here. I think the little one might be able to do some damage. You have to remember that TLO's army is about the same size as Daishi's right now, because some of that differential is eaten up in SCVs. The little one here taking an awful risk to burrow his Swarm Hose, but he's trying to get the Locusts out, and the Locusts do pop out, but now he's got to pull out of here. He's got to get out with his Roaches and his Swarm Hose, and he does just that, doing a little bit of damage to the Hellbats in the front, and he's got to buy time, waiting for his Ultras to come out, waiting for the next round of Swarm Hose to pop as well. Vikings flying close once again to Zerg airspace. There are Ultras now on the field. The little one's going to have to plan this attack properly. I think try to come in from all angles. That's the only way he's going to win this fight. And Daishi right now, I mean, he is taking an awful risk running himself down into this corridor, but he sieges up everything, and that spells disaster for the incoming Zerg forces. But Blinding Clouds do drop down, and the Ultras are going to do a ton of damage to these tanks and Thors, but it isn't going to be enough. And the little one has to call GG. Daishi is victorious. He wins a second game in a row against Team Liquid, which means he's going to go on to game 3 here, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, that was a really nice game between these two players. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see who Team Liquid decides to throw up next, but for now, this is HD, and I am signing out.